tell us that this is like a test drive for the college experience. Many students before they go to college are a little bit concerned and worried about how well they'll do in the university setting in the United States. And this usually doesn't have to do with academics. For the most part, our international students show academic excellence. They wouldn't have gotten into a top school unless they were academically strong students. But the educational system in the United States is quite different than in other countries, in that the expectations that the professors might have for students are a bit different. A good example is found in class participation. In many U.S. classrooms, the professor will ask that students participate in the discussion, oftentimes debate with each other or debate with the instructor even. And these are called soft skills, this ability to formulate your own opinion, creatively problem solve, be able to articulate your opinion, and then be able to back that opinion up. There's also quite a bit of group work in the U.S. educational system. Again, expectations that students from a system outside of the United States may not have encountered before. So you might be expected to work together in a group of 3 or 4 people. This means that your interpersonal communication skills need to be really on target. You need to be able to have the ability to work well with others and also to be able to participate fully and equally. And then, of course, you need to have a bit of experience with speaking in public. If you are to, for example, give a presentation, you'll need to be able to not just write a paper, but be able to actually create and design a presentation and then present that in front of a larger group of students. So the idea that academics is simply to memorize what the expert or the instructor says and then regurgitate that through passing a test is not, it's not as common as it would be to ask for students to do presentations and group work, to formulate opinion papers, to participate in class discussions. There's also the challenge that some international students will have when it comes to fully interacting with the whole campus experience. So we want students in top universities to have a very meaningful experience with all parts of the university life. And this also takes some of those soft skills, this ability to interact with other students, to have the confidence and the courage to join into student life and student affairs. All of these expectations, all of these skills are sometimes the areas where our international students feel like it's a little bit hard when they come to college. So if you can start doing some of this at high school age, while you're taking a class at Duke or at another top university, this gives you experience, it gives you confidence in your abilities, and it also helps you to understand the college culture so that you can successfully negotiate college life when you're actually in college. A lot of students don't realize that there is a different culture in different types of universities. It could be a state school, it could be a private elite university. And even the geographic location in the town or the city where your university is located will have an impact on the type of culture within the university. We believe that the high school years for students are the years of exploration. We encourage students to have many different summer experiences in the United States so that as you're choosing your university, as you're making decisions on where you're going to study for college, you make this with informed decisions. So you realize that maybe the college you're choosing is in a big city and you kind of are a person who likes a smaller town. Well, this is important information for you to have as you choose the college that you're going to apply for. And then, of course, improving your English skills. Some students do quite well on written exams, and yet when it comes to using the English skills, this experience with other students from the United States is quite helpful. So that's just a bit of information as to what we hear from our international students as to the benefits of attending a program in the U.S. And now let's take a look at Duke University in particular. As you're making a decision about the university experience, you'll want to look at where the university is rated. Duke, of course, is a top-rated private research university with a worldwide reputation for excellence. This is quite important as you're choosing a college or a university to attend. Take a look and see what level of excellence do they provide. Being such a top university, our classes are rigorous. They're intellectually challenging, and we work hard for our student body to be culturally and ethnically diverse. One area where Duke University is a bit different from other universities over the summer is that we strongly believe in the development of global citizenship for our students. We feel that students, if in high school they're able to interact with students from around the country, around the world, they're able to see situations and life from perspectives from many angles. So we really believe that the development of global citizenship is important. As such, you'll see that we have over half of our students coming from international locations from all over the world. This provides you a very rich and robust international experience while studying in the United States. We make sure that our program fees are competitive with other top universities. And we also include evening and weekend residential activities so that you have a rich environment outside of class as well as inside. I like to think of the academic portion of our program as the head of our program, and then the residential side is the heart of the program. This is where all of the socialization happens and where you learn to make friends from people around the world. We're going to talk about two summer programs that we have here at Duke. We've got Summer College for high school students and Summer Academy for high school students. Let's first start with Summer College. Summer College is our program that offers academic credit. It's our longest program, it's 4 weeks, goes from July 10th to August 5th this summer. Students will take a class for academic credit with Duke undergraduate students. And students that come to this program are currently in grades 10 and 11. So they're rising juniors and seniors. We've got optional evening film series for personal enrichment. We also have some expos to give you a bit of information on SAT training, academic writing, and even college preparation. Because this is a credit-bearing program, our students are required to obtain a student visa. And they are required to submit a language proficiency test score. This could be a TOEFL or an IELTS. The minimum TOEFL that we'll accept for this program is 90. Our preference is closer to 100, but we can go to 90 for some classes. And then your IELTS score, if you have that, must be at a 7. Again, we have many weekend excursions and social opportunities, and the program price of $8,250 US doesn't have any hidden fees. So your housing and your meals, all of the excursions, picking you up at the airport, renting linen packs, all of this is included. Some programs you'll see may have a lower price initially, but then as you start adding things on, then you see that the price gets higher and higher. We don't like to do that. We like to have all of our, everything that you need to attend the program involved in that price. Let's talk for a minute about the academic life of summer college. Now, as I mentioned, this is a class for credit. Class goes every day for 2 hours a day. So students will attend class either from 10 to noon or from 2 to 4. Now that probably doesn't seem like much, 2 hours a day of class, when many high school students are in class for more hours than that. But at college, that's 2 hours of time with your professor. Most students spend about 3 to 6 hours each day outside of class doing independent study. They might be preparing for a test. It could be that the students are busy writing a paper or preparing for a presentation or doing research. So while they're in class with the professor 2 hours a day, Most students will spend 3 to 6 hours each day on independent work. The student who succeeds in this type of environment is the independent learner. It's not like in high school or middle school where you have someone behind you reminding you to do your homework. Once you go to college, you're responsible for keeping up with the work that's due. And so we really need learners that are quite independent and ready for such a challenge. Of course, our evenings are busy. We have film series, we have our expos, and all of these are voluntary. I'd like you to notice for a moment the left-hand column where it talks about the types of Duke daytime courses. These are just a few examples. But I bring these up because our goal in choosing classes is not simply to accelerate learning in topics that students are introduced to in high school. In fact, what we like to do is we like to broaden the type of topics that students are experiencing. So for example, in high school you might have mathematics or calculus. In college you can take game theory, which includes microeconomics and includes statistics and probability theory. In high school you might have science or biology. Well, in college you can study 3D genome and human disease. You get the idea that what we're looking at here is we're looking at introducing topics to high school students in areas that they most likely would not have the opportunity to learn about in high school. And then, of course, our film series are optional, and students are allowed to sign up and join any of those that they like. So that's our summer college program. We have a second program. And our Summer Academy program is a bit shorter. This is 3 weeks instead of 4 weeks. As I mentioned, Duke is committed to the development of global citizens during our summer programming. Therefore, all of our classes in Summer Academy are based on the transformation, the personal transformation of each student toward this end of becoming a global citizen. Students can apply for the for the program if they're in grades 9, 10, 11, or 12. That's your current grade. Let's take a minute and talk about these 3 exciting classes that we offer. Global Leader. The Global Leader course is designed not as a management class. We're not going to teach you management skills and how to be a boss. Instead, we are going to help you to develop as a person, so that you become the type of inspiring leader that other people want to follow. They can see your vision. They can understand what it is you want to do. We allow you to explore self-awareness, emotional regulation, all of the characteristics that great leaders have within themselves. We also look at communication. We look at how do you communicate with other people interpersonally, and how do you communicate to a large group of people. In order to be a leader, you need to identify what it is that you want to change or what it is that you're passionate about. And then you must learn how to communicate that to others so that everybody's so excited about your ideas and about you as a person. They want to follow along and work with you. Our Global Entrepreneur, this course is very interesting because in this course we take a look at this phenomenon that so many big new ideas and big new inventions are coming out of the United States. Well, you have to wonder why that is. We think there's a couple of reasons behind this. The educational system and the culture in the United States really promotes creative thinking. So in this class, we are going to give you a lot of different problems to solve. And we're going to help you to start thinking different ways and creative ways to solve problems. This is the kind of thinking that you want to develop. As you're looking at inventions, your inventions need to solve some kind of problem, meet some kind of need. And so we really work to help you develop this creative thinking, this way of looking at a problem and creatively coming up with ideas that might work. And then we couple this with this ability to be able to face failure, to have resiliency, to believe in yourself so much that you really do believe that you can do anything against all odds. This great combination of creative thinking, coming up with inventions, the resiliency to face failure, and the ability to believe in yourself. These type of characteristics are what help people to become the new entrepreneurs. Our Global Giver course. Now this course is based on service learning, based on helping your community, based on coming up with ways that you can make a change in your community, have a positive impact in the world around you. Many of our international students tell us that they feel a little disadvantaged when it comes to community service because there aren't quite as many opportunities to do meaningful community service in the country they come from. And so in this case, we actually give students the opportunity to go out into the community and do different types of service. This results in a certificate, which you can add right to your college application to show that you've completed at least 60 hours of community service. And we also help you to design a unique project that takes into account your unique strengths and then the unique needs of the community around you. So these are our 3 academy classes. Now the academy classes do not require language proficiency. So in this case, let's say you're a really strong candidate. You've got all of these skills, you're interested in going to the United States for college. Well, in this case, while you're working on building your language proficiency, you can come in and take an academy class. You can grow as a person and an individual. You can transform yourself to become a great leader or entrepreneur or community service. And while you're doing that, you can be increasing your English language. Now, because this is a non-credit program, then students are required not to get a student visa, but a visitor's visa. Of course, we have the same weekend excursions and social opportunities, and again, the price is inclusive of all of the housing and meals and excursions. Our academic life in Summer Academy is a little different than summer college. In this case, all of the work is done in the classroom. We do a lot of group projects, very interactive. There's no homework or independent work outside. So here from 9 until about 3:30 in the afternoon, with of course a lunch break in between, you're working with your friends. You're actually doing what you're learning. Very interactive, highly engaging, and you're practicing the skills as you're developing them. Of course, we have the same evening film series and educational expos for both programs. And our residence life for both programs is also the same. So, for example, Monday through Friday before class, students can go to breakfast if they like. Now, for our high school programs, the students who come to these programs are the top students. These are students who are devoting their summer to grow academically and to grow in a personal enrichment course. So we don't have a lot of need for babysitting or keeping our eye over students 24/7. So we do allow a certain degree of independence within a safe structure for our students. So you can go to breakfast with your friends. You don't need to have one of our RAs or adults with you. Same thing at lunchtime. You can explore the campus. You can even go off campus to an area within some boundaries. And you can have dinner with your friends. So there's quite a bit of independence that is allowed for students within a safe environment, and at the same time, we want to offer a lot of structured activities that you can join in so you can easily make friends. Between 4 and 7 o'clock, this is when many of our structured residential activities take place. All you need to do is sign up and show up. So for example, it might be, I don't know, badminton or volleyball, some sporting activities. Maybe there's board games or baking or cooking activities. Many different types of activities where you show up, you meet friends, you're doing something together. So there's not as much of pressure on you to have to go out and try to make friends on your own because it's all built into the program. Every night, your residence group, which is about 20 students, gets together with their RA. This is a small community within the larger summer college and summer academy program. I find that these 20 students with their RA, every night they're doing icebreakers and community building activities. There's also time to understand the logistical activities that are coming up. For example, we may have a ball game that we're taking all of the students to. Well, in this case, there's logistical information, and we'll give that logistical information in our nightly activities. I'm seeing that there's some questions are coming up, and I'll go ahead and answer them as they come along. So we do have a question of how many hours of community service for the Global Giver course, and that is 60 hours of community service for the Global Giver course. And the question has also come up if the excursions are included in the program fee, and yes, all excursions, whether it's the off-campus ball game, going shopping, any of the residential activities, that's all inclusive in the program. Okay. You'll notice that we have a staff that is specific to our summer college and summer academy life. We've got a director, we've got an academic dean, a dean of residence life, RAs, even tutors. So some college programs for high school students will expect that the student does everything on their own. And so one thing that we do want to look at is we have additional support. You're not expected to come to Duke and do everything on your own. We have all of the support and activities there ready for you. For our timeline, we're coming up against right now our deadline. Our deadline is April 15th. We've been taking applications since December 1st. And so this means that you're coming in right on the tail end. It's true that some of our classes have filled up at this time, but we do have a wait list because, of course, some people decide that they may not be able to attend for one reason or another. So while we are coming up close to that April 15 deadline, there's still some space in our programs, and if the class is filled, we can also put you on a wait list. Let's take a look for a moment about our admission criteria. We have quite a selective admissions process for students. We have modeled this after a college application. So, for example, you need to provide your transcript. Now, this can be an unofficial transcript. You do not have to get an official transcript in an envelope from your school. You can just submit the transcript unofficially within your admission paperwork. You do have to write an essay, and the essay needs to be in your own voice. Well, we're happy to have you get help on maybe grammar or spelling. We want to make sure that you are speaking from your voice, from your experience. So we want to hear about why you're a good candidate. Why is it that we should choose you to come to Duke Summer College or Summer Academy? We want to hear what is it that draws you to come to Duke University? And what is it about the class that interests you? So you write this in a narrative essay form, and then you also submit a resume. Now the resume, some of you may not be familiar with what format that comes in. A resume is not a narrative with paragraphs. This is usually bullet points about you. This shows me on a piece of paper a whole picture of you. Your transcript gives me information about your academics. Your essay gives me information about why you're a good candidate, why you're interested. But your resume will give me information about activities that you've engaged in that really show who you are. You might categorize these under leadership. Right? So what is it that you're doing? Maybe you are founder and president of a club. Maybe you have started something new and exciting. Maybe you're vice president of your class. So these are all of the areas in class and out of class that you show yourself as a leader. We do want to know if you've done any community service. So again, that's another heading, community service, and this is where you tell us what it is that you're doing to have a positive impact in the world around you. Any extracurricular activities that you're involved in. It's also helpful that you quantify your extracurricular activities. So for example, it's less helpful for me to hear that you like swimming. It's more helpful for me to hear that you're on the swim team. You see, you want to show me in what you're doing what your interests are, not just tell me the things you're interested in. So we have extracurricular activities. We have your community service. We have leadership roles. And then if you happen to have won any awards, maybe published some writings, maybe you've directed a film or been in a play. These are all of the areas that I want to know about from you. And again, you have a heading and then bullet points about what you do. The application form must be completely filled out. And for both programs, you're going to need to get a recommendation letter, either from a teacher or a counselor, somebody who knows you well and can attest to the fact that you would be an asset to the program. And then if you are applying to summer college, then we would need the TOEFL or the IELTS score. But for Summer Academy, again, no language proficiency test score is required. Here I'm going to give you our Summer College and Summer Academy contact information. So that's my email, personal email. Happy to get any emails from students along the way. And then that's our website. There's a couple of things I'd like you to look up on the website. First, there's our blog. The student blog is on the right-hand side, and this is from 2015. Students wrote every day and took pictures about their experiences. What I like about the blog is that this is students talking about the program to other students. And so you really get a feel for what happens over the summer directly from the mouths of the students. Another thing you might look at is you might take a look at the student guide for success. Here's a document that you can go through, and it tells you all of the nuances about the dorms, about airport pickup, all of the little details, even tells you about laundry that you'll be interested to know about in the program. And then, of course, all of the application forms are directly available. So this is the conclusion of the formal presentation, and I believe that I have answered questions along the way, but it's possible that I did miss some. I cannot hear people talking, so if you have questions, if someone could type those questions into the chat box, I'll be happy to answer those questions. I'm going to go ahead and give you the link here to the blog. Also, some students might have questions about anything. Feel free to ask questions, whether it's about the Duke Summer Program, and I'll do my best to answer. One of the questions that came across is whether we have financial aid for international students. Unfortunately, we do not. We have very limited funding for financial aid, limited to none, and so we do not offer the financial aid for students. And I'm getting a question about whether we have scholarship as well. We do not have financial aid or scholarships for the program. So we have a question that says, I'm currently in the studio university medical career with an overall average of 80. I can continue my studies in the United States. This sounds to me like you might be a college student. Is this correct? Okay, for our college students, we have a separate program, and that is called the Summer Scholars. And I'm going to go ahead and go to the link for our visiting international students, and I'll give you the link for that program as well as the presentation about that program. So here is the link directly to the program, and here is our presentation for international students, for international college students. Now, one thing I'll tell you about this program is that it's a full program. We have many international college students coming to Duke over the summer as well. We will pick students up from the airport. They usually will enroll in 2 classes over a 6-week period of time. It's not quite as structured as the high school program because these are college students, but we do provide workshops on graduate admissions. We provide workshops on international, from our international house and career services. And then we also have social opportunities with concerts and pizza parties and opportunities to socialize with all students from Duke. So our Summer Scholar program for visiting international college students is also another great way to go. I have a question here about how can I go to America to study for a career? Are you a high school student or a college student? High school student, okay. So there are many different paths that you can take. If you want to go to the United States to study, then one of the benefits of going to a program over the summer as a high school student is it starts to give you that experience. It gives you an understanding of the different types of culture in the different programs. It also will help you to decide which type of application you want to go for and make networking and friends as well as prepare for college. So one path toward studying for a career in America is to start in high school with the summer program at any top university. Start learning and exploring about the different types of universities. The most important thing as you're choosing a college is that you are looking for what we call the best fit. This means that you don't only look at the ranking of the school. You want to look at what are you interested in studying, what is your passion, and then start making matches with which colleges are the best fit. You want to take into account the geographical location. You want to take into account the culture, whether it's a private school or a public school, that makes a difference. You want to look to be sure that the college that you're choosing specializes in the area that you are interested in. Those are just some of the things that you look at as you're looking toward the best fit between you and your high school. And that's one good way to begin studying in America for a career. So I've got a question here about the acceptance rate for college in Duke. My guess is that you're asking about our undergraduate admissions acceptance rate for our undergraduate program. In that case, I would refer you to undergraduate admissions. The reason that I do that is here at Duke, we hesitate to speak about different departments. For example, if you were to write to the undergraduate admissions office and ask about specifics to our summer program, they would refer you back to us. because of the fact that we each have our expertise in our areas, and we want to make sure that you do get the correct and best information. If you'd like, you can email me with this question, and I can direct you to some of my colleagues over in the admissions department who might be able to answer that question for you. I have a question here as to the price of a TOEFL exam. I actually am not sure what the price is in your country for the TOEFL. Here at Duke, we will accept the results of the TOEFL exam that you arrange on your own, but we are not in charge of arranging the actual exam itself. So I don't know the details of the TOEFL exam. I'm betting some of our Ed.U.S.A. folks will be able, there, I just saw it come up. They're showing our Ed.U.S.A. folks are saying that the IBT costs $175 US. Thanks for that. Went ahead and put up my email address. Sometimes what happens after a webinar like this is students will go home and talk to their parents and then realize that there were some questions maybe that your parents might have that you forgot to ask. If that's the case, I encourage you to write to me directly at my email address. So I have an interesting question here. What makes Duke's summer program better than others? So that's really an interesting question, because we actually don't consider ourselves in competition with other universities. In fact, the people who are director of summer programs at other top universities are my friends. We all believe that the experience for the student, the best experience, is to explore many different types of options. So, for example, we would encourage a student to take a summer at Duke, but maybe also take a summer at Harvard or Columbia, Cornell or Brown, or maybe over on the West Coast at Stanford. Because as you take a different summer program, you learn about the culture of the school. You learn about the different type of educational experience, and this type of exploration helps you to make an informed decision when it's time to apply to colleges. I will tell you that here at Duke over the summer, we have a special emphasis on global citizenship. We see a lot of high school students who will go visit a country. Maybe they'll take a school trip. So they'll go to Mexico, for example, with their 20 high school friends, and they're all from America. They'll do some sightseeing, they'll eat some food. They'll have a little bit of cultural experience. But they won't really have the type of cultural experience that you gain when you're living and learning with students from another country. So here at Duke, we work very hard to include students from many different countries. It's one of the reasons we're raising awareness of our program here with students in Mexico, because we would love to have this international group of students that networks with each other, that experiences life with each other, that lives and learns together. I wouldn't say that that makes us necessarily better, but I will say that is something that we are dedicated to. We believe that the development of global citizenship while you're in high school and at least, if not in high school, while you're in college, will sincerely help you as you go out into the world and to be successful not only in your career but also as a person. So that's one of the focuses that we have at Duke that is a little bit different than some of my colleagues. There's a question about North Carolina. So North Carolina, the question posed in front of me is whether or not it's expensive. North Carolina it's a bit in the south over to the East Coast. We're a very small town. We are not in a big city. I know my friends up at Columbia, we had a meeting up there not too long ago, and it was quite of a different culture to be in the middle of New York versus being here in Durham, North Carolina. The South is very gracious. It has a bit of a slower culture. The people are very kind and very warm. It feels quite safe here. And the environment is a bit slower, a bit more gracious. I wouldn't say it's particularly expensive, certainly not as expensive as some of the bigger cities. And in fact, we do see many of our international students who take this opportunity in the U.S. to get a lot of shopping done. And as I said, the activities in the program are all part of the fee. However, you might want to go out for pizza one night for dinner with your friends off campus. If you do decide to have meals off campus, that would be on your own dime. We pay for meals on campus. So if you are going out for pizza every single night and treating all your friends, that could be pretty expensive. We do encourage students to budget their money and to spend wisely, and then of course include everything in the program. Thank you so much, you guys. I enjoyed this, and I really look forward to hearing back from any of you with any questions you might have. And if I can't answer your questions, then I'll be sure to forward them on to the people who can. Thanks so much. Have a great night. Bye-bye.